0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
Oh, that's real good.
Hello friends, and welcome to my channel. You know, I've been grilling out most of my life. I always used the grill, but I never did do any smoking up to about maybe 10 years ago. I really got interested in smoking meat. I usually always grill burgers, hot dogs, that kind of stuff. Never food with anything like smoking brisket overnight or pork butts or anything like that. So I decided back about 10 years ago, I got interested in pellet grills. So that's what got me started, was pellet grills. And then the last year or two, I've really got into using my Weber kettle that I got in front of me right here. Now, I'll tell you, it's really hard to beat smoking meat on a Weber kettle. You got the flavor of charcoal. You can put wood chips on it to enhance the smoke and the flavor. And it just really produces some really good food. So today, in this video, I want to show you some things that I bought for my kettle. I've been kind of upgrading it, doing some upgrades on it, and trying to make it more efficient. And I want to show you some of my gadgets, so to speak, that I bought for this thing and how I've got it set up. And this is how I've got it set up to do my indirect cooking. That is, you got a hot zone where your coals are, and then you got a cool zone where you put your meat. And you know, one of the things about the Weber kettle is learning how to set your vents and adjust the airflow to keep your grill at a certain temperature. Never did really master that, even though I can get pretty close, but you know, it's something that you kind of have to fiddle with off and on during the whole cook. Now, if you got a long cook going on, like a brisket or a Boston butt, then you know, you're gonna devote a whole day to tending to the grill, which I don't mind doing that. I enjoy doing that, but I wanted to get more even temperatures with my Weber kettle. I guess because I started out on pellet smokers, and they have their own controller out to set your temperature in and monitor your cook. And I kind of got used to that. So I wanted to see if I could incorporate some of this on my Weber kettle. So with that being said, I want to give you a tour of my Weber kettle this evening and show you some of the modifications I've done and how I have mine set up, maybe, and some accessories, a few accessories that I bought for it. So let's get to it. Okay, we're going to start with a tour of the outside of the grill. Now, you're looking at this kettle right now, this Weber kettle, and you probably already noticed a couple of mods right off the bat. Now, one of the most important mods that I've done for this thing, in order to keep the temperature at a certain degrees and have an out to control it, have an out to monitor it, and to watch your cook, is the Spider Grill's Venom. Now, that's that box you see at the bottom of the grill. Let's look closer at it. This thing controls the airflow into your grill, and it has a temperature setting, it has an ambient probe, and it has a meat probe that you can monitor your meat. This thing really holds temperature really well. I'm really impressed with it. But as I was using it and been trying to get used to using it, I've noticed that my kettle is not very airtight. In other words, there's a lot of smoke leaking out in different places. So we're going to show you some mods that I made to take care of that too. But let's continue to do this tour of the outside of the grill. Here's the Spider Venom controller. As I said a while ago, I really like this thing. It does a wonderful job. But then I move on up and notice that I put a thermometer in the lid just about grate level. And if you keep this away from your coals, it will give you a very accurate ambient temperature, just a first glance look to see what the temperature is. Now I put this on before I got the Spider Venom to help me to monitor the grate temperature as I was smoking. And I really like that. It works really well. It's very accurate. And since I've got the Venom, this thing is pretty much accurate with the Venom. So the level I have it here on my lid is pretty good representation of where your food is on the grate and how much heat your food's getting. Another thing about this Spider Venom that I was dealing with is this wire is your ambient temperature probe. And to start with, you had to just lay that over the grill, and your lid wasn't sealed. So what I did, I found these grommets on eBay, just little silicone grommets. Of course, you had to drill another hole in my kettle, but I don't mind because it keeps this wire right here from going under your lid, and it gives your lid a better seal. And that's what I was after. It works really well. So those are the outside mods that I made to this grill. And we're going to show you something else here as we open the lid. First of all, I want you to notice this gasket material right here that I bought and put on the lid to give it a better seal. Now that the ambient probe wire is not lapping over the lip of the grill, then I wanted to get a better seal. And I used this gasket material to do that. And later I'm going to show you how I installed this gasket material. So let's lay this lid down here. And I want to show you first of all how that wire comes through for my ambient probe. And I placed my ambient probe right here in the center of the grill. Notice it's away from the charcoal. It's away from the heat, but it's in the center. So that gives you a very accurate reading of the temperature of your grill. Another thing is what you're seeing under the grill grate there. This thing is called the smoke and sizzle. Now I really like this thing because it really complements and works well with the Spider Venom. Notice I have my coals over here. This is from a previous cook. I hadn't cleaned it out yet. But there's my coals. This is your hot zone. Okay. When your Spider Venom blows air in, if you don't have something here to cover the grate, then the air is just going to go up and it's not really going to affect the coals that much, and you're going to have temperature spikes. So this thing covers the bottom. It gives you a wall here to separate your coals from your cook, from your meat. And the air will actually flow under the smoke and sizzle and come up through your charcoal where it needs to be. Now this thing really works well. And if you'll notice too, I have the charcoal over here and the Spider Venom over here. I do that to keep the heat away from the Venom because I just worry about the Venom getting too hot, maybe melting the circuit board or something. So the heat's over here, so the Venom don't really get that hot. And also, by having it over here in my coals on the opposite side of the Venom, the air will flow under the smoke and sizzle, up through the charcoal. The heat will hit the dome and come across the dome over your meat, the smoke also, and then will exit the vent. So in other words, when I place the lid on this thing, I place the vent and this ambient temperature gauge opposite my fire. So when the heat comes up, it'll come over this dome, over your food, and out this vent. Gives your food a lot more smoke, and it also helps you in keeping the temperature really controlled. So these are some mods. This thing I bought off of eBay. I think it was not off eBay, but off of Amazon. Smoke and Sizzle is the name of it. I think I gave like $70 for it, but it's been well worth it. This is my setup for my indirect cooking. In other words, I place the meat right here. The coals are right here, and the venom keeps the temperature in the range that I want it to. So I can do a low and slow cook, like a pork butt or brisket, anything that needs a lot of smoke and cooked at a low temperature. I can do it. This setup works really well, especially with the spider venom there. This is the way I have it set up for low and slow cooks. And also, if I want to do something on a higher level, indirect, say for instance, chicken wings. I know there's a lot of talk about the vortex, and I've got one right over there that I use often. But I've learned that this setup right here will work really well with chicken wings as far as getting the skin done, cooking them at a higher temperature and really crisping that skin up. So what I do, I just leave the setup just like it is. And I set my venom at like 450 degrees, which is hot enough to cook good chicken wings and get the skin crisp. So you put your chicken wings here, you turn the venom up to 450 degrees. The ambient temperature of the grill is 450 degrees, and that heat comes up and gives the kind of a vortex effect because the blower blowing on the venom, and it covers them wings and really makes the skin of the wings not rubbery but good and crisp. It works well also if you want to do chicken breast. I don't cook them at 450. I turn the venom down to about 350 to 375, but I cook them indirect, and it don't dry them out, and it gives them a good color and makes them really tender. You do that with pork chops too, for instance. This setup works good for a steak. You can set the venom really low, like 200, 225, something like that. Put your steaks over here. Let them incorporate a lot of smoke to start with, and when right before they get to the desired temperature that you want, you can open the lid, let these coals get hot. It only takes a few minutes, because when you open the lid, then the temperature drops and the fan kicks on the venom because it's thinking it needs more air to get the temperature back up. So what that air does is just heat these coals up intensely, kind of like a vortex. And if you want to sear your steaks, you take them off of this a cool zone where you're smoking them at, and just place them right there on the grills, and you can get a really beautiful, nice sear on those steaks. So folks, this is how I've got my Weber kettle set up, and I have this set up pretty much keep it this way because it's so versatile this way. Now, I haven't had a lot of success using the vortex with the venom, but I'm thinking and working on that, trying to think of ways that I can make that better. And when I figure that out, I'll make a video of that too. But folks, this is the way I have my Weber kettle set up. The venom, I think, cost me like $2.99. The smoke and sizzle cost me like $79. So those two accessories really made a difference on how I can cook and control the temperature on this kettle. And also the gasket that I put on the lid really makes a difference on how this thing can hold temperatures, because you don't have no air leaks or waste for air to escape or get in to make the fire hotter and make the venom have to continuously compensate for the airflow. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you it was been very useful to you and helpful to you. And if you like this video, I would like for you to subscribe to the channel, and that way you can get notifications when I post future things. This is my first video on my channel, but I want to do a lot more videos on smoking different types of meat and my process of doing that, and upgrades I make to my kettle. I also have a char griller acorn that I love to cook on too. This thing is the tank when it comes to holding heat, and just does a wonderful job. And I don't know if you see it over here, but I also have a Weber smoke fire pellet grill that I love. It's a really good machine. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of cooks, a lot of different things with these grills, and I hope you will hit the subscribe button and the like button and wait for future content that I post. And y'all, I'll see you on the next one. Keep on smoking. Bye-bye.